It's been just over 3 years since I announced the formation of the Two Left Thumbs publishing label with its debut title, Dead Estate. 2023 was a massive year filled with updates, announcements, new releases, and I wanted to take some time to do a retrospective and celebrate all of what was accomplished in 2023. To coincide with all this, I'm also running a Two Left Thumbs anniversary sale over on Steam. Every release title is now on sale. While you're looking around these Steam pages, keep a close eye on bundles, as I've tried to match these games up in a way where fans of specific genres can pick up collections of games at an additional discount. Or pick up all of the games together in one mega bundle for a substantial price reduction. So if you like what you hear in this video, go grab yourself some discounted indies and add some hot upcoming titles to your wishlist. First, looking at new updates to existing games. Dead Estate is a claustrophobic, horror-inspired action roguelike and the flagship title of Two Left Thumbs, which, despite launching in 1.0, has continued to receive free content updates for over 2 years. In February, we had the Heaven and Hell update, which added blessings and curses to modify your runs, new shops, and chunks medallions as a new currency to spend in them. Unlockable sea costumes were added for every character, plus many new items and weapons. Followed then by some heavy patching and optimization that was much needed after adding so many new things to the game. In late April, Axe to Grind added a 10th playable character, Axel, as well as heavily reworking Chunks to make him more of an actual threat to contest with, and everything received another big pass of fixes and balancing. And finally, at the year's end, we had the game's biggest update yet. Number 5, Assignment Anya. This added an entirely new survival horror-inspired side game titled Assignment Anya. This plays very differently from the core Dead Estate, and is available to anyone who owns the game directly from the main menu. This update also added new challenges for every character, which can be completed to unlock a new selection of specialty curses, alongside another large list of balances and weapon buffs. And we're not done yet, as the largest update of all, the grand finale, Good Night, is set to release in 2024. At the end of 2022, Two Left Thumbs came on as publisher for Wizard Chess. This came a year after its initial early access launch, rebranding the title and pivoting to a more strategy-heavy gameplay loop. This quick-play, chess-inspired deck-building roguelike, whose true complexity will slowly reveal itself the more runs you play and win. That onboarding and difficulty ramp was really dialed in over the course of 2023, and now is a great time to pick up and start playing Wizard Chess. 2PM Studios took this game all the way from 0.5 to 0.8.5 over the course of the year. You can follow along with Ben's devlogs over on their YouTube channel if you want to hear about it directly from him, learning more about the design process and hearing how some of those decisions come to be. This year, the UI was completely overhauled, champion units were added, a new fatigue system, a much improved loop of challenging new boss ranks, and the brand new quest and perk mechanics to all add much more run variety. Starting out with just the singular mountain biome, 2023 also saw the addition of an entire new desert and Fey biome. Recent updates have fleshed these out, expanding on them greatly, adding lots of new challenges and variety, and making sure those boss battles remain fun and exciting as you climb your way through those difficulty ranks. A full version 1.0 should be coming in 2024. Continue to follow along for updates on Wizard Chess's development as we continue to creep towards that full release. In addition to these updates, Two Left Thumbs saw the release of 6 brand new games. Magenta Horizon launched into early access on May 29th. This 2D character action game is fast-paced and challenging, but incredibly flexible in its playstyle, sitting at a 96% positive rating based on 57 reviews. Once described as rainbow vomit visuals, the style of this game is directly inspired by prog rock and metal album covers, with this one-of-a-kind carnival metal fusion musical styling for the soundtrack. This insane game that's unlike anything you've seen before is being made entirely by a solo developer.
The greatest show on this realm. begins now!
Madison is hard at work on Act 3, which will debut later this year. If you'd like to play the game for yourself first and decide if it interests you, the game's demo on Steam is in actuality the entire first act of the game. So be sure to try that out first, and you can wishlist it or buy if you like what you see. Repellafella. After over 6 years of hard work from another solo developer, Repellafella released on June 5th. This point-and-click, choose-your-own-adventure comedy drama boasts over 6 hours of hand-animated cutscenes, fully voiced by over 90 voice actors, with a story that presents over 120 different options to choose from. This adventure is built with replayability in mind, encouraging you to try again and explore the major branching points of the story, attempting to see every possible outcome and alternate ending. This game has been a bit of a sleeper hit, slowly finding its audience and currently sitting at a 98% positive rating after about 300 reviews. We were also honored to take part in 2023's Jingle Jam, which raised nearly £3 million for charity. After years of anticipation with a highly replayable demo, Paper Planet had its official launch on August 21st. This is likely the game I most actively pursued publishing. Everything about the Flash-inspired visuals, chaotic broken build roguelike runs, and silly co-op arcade gameplay all made it a must-play in my eyes, and I'm incredibly proud of how polished the game was right at launch. Doodle Games did a phenomenal job with this. I feel so lucky to have been a part of it, and I'm so excited for what's coming next. Early mini content updates started to drop later in 2023, but work has begun now on a much bigger expansion for the game. We don't know exactly how many content updates this game will have, but I can confidently say it this time, we've got big plans for this title. The best is yet to come. Now, December was a wild month, much more so than originally intended. I paired up with old-school Flash developers Lucas Pock and Anthony Lavelle to bring together the William and Sly Classic Collection. This is the original 2 William and Sly Flash games, updated with full-screen, 60 frames per second visuals, and controller support. There aren't many bells and whistles, it's a pretty straightforward collection, which is why we kept it entirely free. So you can go play that on Steam right now. Picayune Dreams may look like another Vampire Survivors clone, but I promise you there is so much more to this game. Releasing December 4th, Picayune Dreams is unlike anything else I've been a part of thus far. This is the first game where I approached a dev team with a budget and simply asked, what would you like to make? It was a risk, but one that has greatly paid off. In just 1 month, we've pulled over 700 reviews and are sitting confidently in Steam's overwhelmingly positive category with a stunning 99% positive rating. We skipped the usual early access route, often used by others in the genre, to instead draw attention to the completed story in our game, ready to be discovered right from launch. The unique blend of bullet heaven and bullet hell alone should help it stand out in the crowd, and the game's other unique qualities and bold design decisions really clicked with its found audience. Plus, it's only $5. So we hope many more players continue to discover the game in the new year as work begins on free planned content updates for Picayune Dreams. And finally, on December 11th, Schism entered early access. I first discovered this game at the start of 2023 in February's Next Fest. The game was all but entirely unknown at that time, and I simply stumbled across it. After working closely with solo dev Fami throughout the year, building up the game's community, playtesting it, and pushing it to its limits, it transitioned to a paid release starting at just $8.99. And I'd say things are going pretty well, as the overall rating is now 100%. Maybe you're feeling a little sick of roguelike shooters. It's a pretty common genre these days, but trust me, you've never seen one like this. Choose a god at the start of your runs to worship for special bonuses. Build up a collection of heavily synergizing relics and moddable guns. Level up to invest in 8 core stats to help you grow stronger, all while weaving your way through bullet hell insanity with a 2-frequency system inspired by Ikaruga, allowing you to phase through like colored bullets. Schism is one of a kind, is getting updated all the time, with a rapidly growing audience, and the potential to be one of those hidden gems you'll be telling your friends you knew about for years before it became popular. 2023 was a year of massive catalog expansion. After more or less proving that this micro-publisher concept can work, it was time to start scaling things up. Alongside 6 brand new releases, an additional 7 titles were announced, targeting 2024 releases, staking out Two Left Thumbs as a serious player in the indie space. These are all the new games announced last year. Play Rough is an upcoming RPG inspired by modern classics like Lisa and Deltarune. This solo developer previously made a fan game titled Lisa-Rune. As an obvious fan of that genre, Deltarune in particular, upon discovering Play Rough's unsuccessful Kickstarter, I jumped at the opportunity to support this super creative, surrealist, post-apocalyptic indie tale. The characters and world are so rich and wonderful, and I can't wait to see the interesting ways your choices affect the story. You can play the entirety of Chapter 1 on Steam now. I previously helped Nikki Kalpa run a successful Kickstarter for They Speak from the Abyss. After that game effectively had to reboot development, Nikki came up with the idea of first making Zenith, a standalone prologue to test out the new engine, some new ideas, and flesh out this game's world. This horror adventure is a beautiful yet gruesome homage to classic dungeon crawling RPGs. Our first ever public demo is just around the corner, the release should follow shortly after that, and our attentions will once again turn to the full They Speak release. Tower of Kalamonvo was a dream acquisition for me. Diablo is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and when I came across Oser, a solo developer creating his ideal version of an action RPG, returning the genre to its roots, taking his greatest inspirations from Diablo 1, I really couldn't resist. The pacing and combat is much slower than you may be used to from future Diablo installments, with survival being much more difficult. You can play an extensive demo on Steam now. Oser's updating it on the regular as we build our way up to a full release. I'm over the moon to announce a partnership with It's the Talia, the powerhouse developer who brought you the likes of Swallow the Sea and Brutal Orchestra, now creating her take on a precision platformer, Clown Meat. Speedrunning and replayability are at the forefront of this freaky frolic, with an insane collection of twisted lore and unsettling NPCs to flesh this world out. And that's flesh with a capital F and an underline under it. Alongside the release of William & Sly's classic collection, we announced a fully 3D continuation of the series coming to Steam this year. Simply titled William & Sly, this open-world platforming collectathon is a cozy title of exploration and whimsy. There's no health bar, no urgency, play as wild and recklessly as you wish, while admiring Lucas's painterly environments, listening to his sweet, soothing melodies, and hunting for every last mushroom. Gorgon Shield, a one-of-a-kind rotational roguelike RPG coming from Oliver Joyce, the legendary Flash dev behind the Swords and Sandals series. Looking to test a fresh new IP, Gorgon Shield breaks the mold of what he's done before. This game is all about positioning and hero management as you attempt to ascend to the top of the tower. There's a free demo available now, which has already received numerous updates, and we're eager to hear your feedback. You can also check out Oliver's YouTube channel, Whiskey Barrel Studios, where he's been sharing much of the development process. Rack and Slay, a bite-sized, more casual roguelike than has come from me in the past. This billiards-inspired roguelike is incredibly quick and easy to pick up. As you unlock more items and tackle higher difficulties, the challenge should remain high enough to keep things interesting. And the public demo just added new 8-ball bosses at the end of each run. The simple and addictive gameplay could keep you playing the demo forever realistically, and that should only improve with the upcoming full release, and the game will be priced very affordably. While Beloved Rapture wasn't announced last year, it is currently targeting a 2024 release. You ever hear the phrase, "I want shorter games with worse graphics"? I think this may be the gold standard of that request. A game that does away with the random encounters, grinding, and filler of many JRPGs, offering up classic gameplay with a modern story and quality of life improvements. There is a lengthy demo for this one available on Steam, and in a year jam-packed with new indie JRPGs, I feel confident that this one will hold its own. I almost left Alice is Dead off the list entirely, as we don't know for certain what the release target for that game will be, but how can I talk about all these amazing upcoming titles and not talk about the full remake of one of the most popular Flash game series of all time? Being made entirely from scratch, this point-and-click adventure takes place in a twisted wonderland. Alice has been murdered, and it's up to you to determine who did it. There's a very early demo for that available if you want a sneak peek of the new art direction, but that's only really scratching the surface. We have a lot more planned for that title.
Well, if it isn't the rabbit, come to see his old pal the Hatter.
And finally, the Doorway Effect. Pairing off with Jason Lovett, this game was intended to be our fresh new take on concepts seen in Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion and Roblox's Doors. After a tumultuous first look at the game's concept, we decided to effectively start development over. What we can say for now is it's an online multiplayer co-op horror roguelike experience. Think a little bit Doors, a little bit Phasmophobia, a little bit Lethal Company, and maybe a sprinkle of the Stanley Parable. We're looking to draw on what has worked for others before while making it feel distinctly new. I really can't wait to share more on that title. Thank you for all the support you've given me and these wonderful indie developers. I cannot thank them enough for taking a risk on this wild new concept, which at this stage is maybe no longer a concept, and instead is maybe more of a model we'll see others replicating in the future. I don't mind the competition. In fact, I welcome it, as it could come as a benefit to all indie developers. Don't forget to check out that publisher sale starting now and running through the weekend, and I can't wait for what we have in store with 2024. That rolled off the tongue, like, really well.